The Game Awards are happening on December 12th, and of course it's gonna be fun to know what is the best game of the year, but I'll be tuning in for the big reveals. And right here, I want to go over what I think will be happening or what has a chance of showing up, because I really think this will be like a pretty big Game Awards, actually. So we see some highlights from the 10th year, like it's the 10th year anniversary day. I do think that means they want to go crazy. But of course, it also depends on what the developers and publishers give Jeff Keighley to show at the event. But 2025 is looking insanely big. So I think it will be very cool to go to a very great Twitter account, JorRaptor. Follow him if you haven't already. And then we will see what is coming in 2025 and what could be at this show. But there are, of course, more things that could show up. Let's first go over this, though. So, I don't think any of this is gonna show up, but I think the February list is interesting. Like, this will be the final big moment for these games to get, like, a spot in a very big spotlight. So, I can totally see Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Civilization 7, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Avowed, Like a Dragon, and Monster Hunter Wilds show up. If I had to pick from these games, I think Monster Hunter Wilds will get a trailer. They've been at a lot of the Jeff Keighley events, so I totally think that will happen. I really want to see Shadows again, but I would not be surprised if Ubisoft is gonna be very, very quiet and then do like a big comeback party in January, and then it's like bam, 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 and game is out, instead of having this sort of Christmas period in between. But yeah, you could argue that maybe them doing like hey, the pre-orders are open again, because right now you cannot pre-order the game digitally, which is kind of wild. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 also needs that more mainstream spot. I do think it might get overshadowed, even though the game looks great. But yeah, it's a crowded period. I don't think Avowed will show up. They already did some marketing for that. If we then go down, we see Adamfall, which is like the new game from the Sniper Elite people. And yeah, we've seen some footage here and there. But yeah, that could use a new push. We might see it. Eternal Strands is too small, but I'm looking forward to it. It's from it's from ex-Ubisoft Quebec, so Odyssey, Immortals developers. It kind of looks like Immortals Phoenix Rising. Look it up if you're interested in that. Dune Awakening could, of course, show up. Grand Theft Auto 6. Last year, that was funny, of course. Last year, not at the Game Awards, but they dropped the trailer for GTA 6 around that time to kind of I'm not sure if it was a middle finger to Jeff Keighley, but they, of course, don't need the Game Awards. So, I still think it would be wild if we go a year without a new look at GTA 6. Nothing is kind of at the time of this recording, we don't really know if that's happening, but it will not be at the Game Awards, but I still hope we get a trailer. Arc Raiders was not announced at the Game Awards, but yeah, that got a recent press event as well. Borderlands 4, I can totally see them doing something, but it kind of depends on when the game will be released. We know it won't be near GTA 6, so I think it will be in September, so they might wait a bit with that. Crimson Desert is actually really likely going to show up with a release date trailer. And yeah, we know Kojima, Jeff Keighley are, of course, big butts, so I can see Death Stranding 2 being there too. I think the Doom the Dark Age, they will likely wait, because it feels like that game is at the end of the year, 2025. Fable, of course, also at the end of the year. Here we go. Ghost of Yotei could totally happen. I want to go a bit more in depth on Sony in a moment here. Greedfall 2, that's of course already in early access. Hell Is Us looks awesome, but yeah, that's more of a smaller game. Judas, we actually heard about Judas, I think, last year at this event, and Jeff Keighley is actually kind of he's been talking a lot about Judas, also at the Game Awards. If you don't notice, the new game from Ken Levine, the Bioshock creator. But I think if we go here, we see Take-Two has a ton of big games in 2025, and they are the publisher for Judas as well. So, it doesn't make sense for them, even though Judas has been in development since Bioshock Infinite, which was 2011, right? I don't think Judas will be out in 2025. It seems to be coming later. So, yeah, I'm not expecting that game. But I totally think like Mafia, I think that has a chance of showing up. I think Mafia might actually release before Borderlands 4, which is crazy to think about. But both games were, of course, announced at Gamescom. Civilization 7, we know, is in February. But I really think one of those two games. I'm putting my money on Mafia actually showing up at the Game Awards with the first gameplay look. We, of course, only got that teaser. So that would be my bet there. Marvel 1943, remember that game? Unreal Engine 5, really narrative driven from, the creator of Uncharted. I'm kind of blanking on her name. Maybe someone in the chat knows. But, she's finally doing another game after Uncharted 4. She, of course, left Naughty Dog to work on a Star Wars project. That got cancelled as well. And now she's at Skydance Media working on this game. So, would be cool to see that again. I think that's like a cool thing they want to show at the Game Awards. We need to see more like what the actual gameplay is for that. Let's go. South of Midnight just had a preview event. So, that's not happening. Amy Hennig, yeah, thanks, Doof. That's totally true. The Wolf Among Us 2 was also delayed. But again, I don't think that will happen. Next-gen Nintendo console, no. I don't think that will happen either. But yeah, these are like the things we know about from 2025. So I think it has, like, those have a high chance of coming up. I wanted to like shout out the Lies of P DLC. I know people are looking forward to that. I'm not sure if the show is like if the DLC is big enough. But I know people are looking forward to that. So we can totally see that. Now I want to move on to Sony. Because Curacasis, what they are doing is kind of like going into the game files. Or game files, I'm saying like they are data mining stuff. They're looking at website information. I'm not sure how they do it. But they usually dig up stuff like a trademark or something that gets that Sony or other companies are doing. And like they kind of notice, okay, something is happening with this particular game or this brand. So we will likely see something for it soon. They, for example, said that there was something Mafia related going to happen. And then we had the game reveal at Gamescom. So unless things have changed, but they were saying back in October, it looks like Sony is gearing up to show more new stuff from Marvel's Wolverine. And Game Awards, of course, seems like a great place to do that. And yeah, we know Spider-Man 2, no DLC for that. Insomniac is looking ahead. What will they do next? Is it the Venom game? They will probably do that. Wolverine as well. We did learn, although, that the creative director, of course, left for Wolverine. So maybe that like caused things to change. But there are reasons to believe that we will get more Wolverine stuff, which would be awesome. And yeah, like one of the coolest things I think that we had last year was the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC that they it was a surprise at the Game Awards, and it launched a week later. So Sony is not afraid to shadow drop completely new content. If we thought that Spider-Man 2 was still getting DLC, if they did not like debunk that or confirm that there was no DLC planned, I would have said Spider-Man 2 DLC could have been here. And we of course know that that's not happening anymore. But I do think this does show you that Sony usually has something big at this event. So it could totally be Ghost of Yotei. It could totally be Wolverine, Death Stranding 2. Although Death Stranding 2, worth noting, it wasn't there last year. They showed it at the State of Play a month later. So it's not like a safe bet that Kojima will show up. And we actually have this. If I do this. The Game Awards will be tremendous. Hope to see something God of War related if the remaster rumors are true. This is what Ivan said in the comments under my Sunday video on the main channel, of course. I want to keep everyone's expectations in check for this remaster collection. I don't think it's gonna happen. I've said it before. I think Sony wants to focus on the new God of War, not like put a spotlight again on the older games. I would love to be wrong. I think it would be really cool to get like an updated graphical version of the Greek trilogy, and maybe including the Vita or the PSP games on the PS5. I don't think it's gonna happen, and from the rumors I've seen, it's not as like black and white. We did not hear like the actual credible leakers talk about this. This has been like a thing that sort of people picked up on, and some accounts are twittering about it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So I want to lower your expectations. Don't get your hopes up for this. I think, again, that Atreus spin-off or whatever is more likely. But that also would be awesome. But I'm not expecting it. So yeah, let's move on. Because we also had the Forbidden West, Burning Shores trailer. Not last year, but at the 2022 Game Awards. And what is interesting about this is that we, of course, know, or actually we are kind of... It seems like the online game where we will hunt the robot dinosaurs together, made by Guerrilla Games, that's their next big project. After that, they will go and do Horizon 3. That is coming in 2025. Talked about it here before on the channel. Like, maybe that's like what they will show. Because I do think that game kind of needs a big mainstream reveal, right? It needs to be in front of more people than just the PC or just the PlayStation audience. Like, those people will totally play it no matter what. But I think they want to, with that online game, really go crazy in terms of, like, how are we going to put this in the market? Like, we want to go beyond the Horizon fans that already love the game. That's what they did with the Lego Horizon game as well. They had the big state of play, but instead of announcing the Lego Horizon game there, they announced it at Summer Game Fest a few weeks later. So, Horizon Online, if it's happening in 2025, the Game Awards on December 12th, in a few weeks, would be the final moment they can like announce that game at a Game Awards if it's coming out in like September or something. So I'm just saying it is totally possible. If we move on to Warner Bros. I hope, because this trailer was during Game Awards 2021, I want to see this game. I love Shadow of Mordor. I love Shadow of War. I love Shadow of War actually more than Shadow of Mordor, but that's a side note. I want to see what they've been up to. This game has been in development for a very long time. The concept art that we saw, you can check that out on a video on the channel where I go more in depth on the Wonder Woman game. Looked awesome. It's an open world RPG, single player. Bring it on, Nemesis system. Like, this game feels like it's gonna launch in 2025 or early 2026. Just a sign of life. Show us the gameplay trailer. I think that would be cool. But maybe even more likely, and we talked about it before as well, the Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition that's in development. It's set to have around the 10 to 15 hours of additional content with new story quests, side quest activities, and outfits. Details on when will be released and price still in flux. Still, some sources have suggested that it could be released in 2025 to bolster Warner Bros. Diminishing gaming revenue. Yeah, they need a win, Warner Bros. With Suicide Squad not doing well, Multiverse is not doing well. So, yeah, they're gonna launch this DLC in 2025. My money is on at the third year anniversary. The game, of course, came out in 2023 or 2020. I always get these mixed up, but I think it was actually 2023. Yeah, it was 2023. So at the 2-year anniversary, I can see it happen. I hope it's not the case, because that would be in February, and we have a lot in February. Like, don't do this, please. But I can see Warner Brothers being like, we have freaking Harry Potter. People will come. People will come. But that would make the February bloodbath even bloodier. So let's hope that that's not happening. But yeah, I do think there's totally a chance that we see it on December 12th. I would put like a 50-50 on it. I think it's pretty likely. I already talked about Ubisoft, and they usually like the Game Awards as well for Far Cry, and mostly the spin-offs they are doing. And this was like New Dawn, where they announced that for the first time. It's interesting. Of course, there's not gonna be a spin-off for Far Cry 6. We had that weird DLC. But yeah, they like to reveal it and then launch it a few weeks or months actually later. But why I'm saying Far Cry, not only because, again, they have been announced. I think Primal was actually announced at a Game Awards as well. Or like before it was called Game Awards. It's because we know, or actually there have been substantial rumors about 2 Far Cry games. Far Cry 7 and Far Cry Multiplayer. They are in development at Ubisoft. Far Cry 7 is going to be a single-player experience, and the other one is a multiplayer-only title. Details on both games are still slim, but let's see. I think they at one point said the 2025 here. So here, it's understood that the game are at least a couple of years away. Again, it's an old article. With a tentative release date of fall 2025. I think even the Far Cry multiplayer game was planned for spring 2025. Let's quickly look that up. Here, to be released in April 2025. This was a rumor in October 2023 that a Far Cry multiplayer game is an extraction shooter to be released in April 2025. So they want to, at least at one point, and again, Insider Gaming, we can trust them. Like at one point it was planned for them to launch Far Cry, the spin-off multiplayer extraction game, before Far Cry 7. Things can of course change, but that would mean that they have to announce it at some point. And I think the Game Awards might make sense for that. They will also be switching to the Snowdrop engine, it seems. So it won't be on the regular Far Cry engine, but on the Avatar engine. Like I think it will look quite similar to Avatar because Avatar was basically Far Cry, but with the Avatar skin, of course. So yeah, it should look very pretty. An alpha was planned for the first half of 2024, and release 2025, April 2025. Again, this would be the final big moment they could announce it, but I would not be surprised if this changed as well. So I just wanted to throw it out there. Maybe we get something Far Cry related. I saw people say Splinter Cell as well. I think Splinter Cell, while I do think it will launch maybe in early 2026 at the earliest, I do think they will save that for Ubisoft Forward. That feels more like a, hey, we are Ubisoft, we bring back the franchise that you actually care about announcement, while we of course know the remake has been in development for a long time. So let me know in the chat as well if you have other things that you hope to see. I'm gonna go over that, but we already of course had, let's see, earlier here, Concert Citizen saying Project 007 as like a potential candidate. This is from the Hitman team, and I think it has been a while since the last Hitman game, right? We know this will be a brand new James Bond. It will be a Bond made for the games. And they want to do a trilogy if this one is successful. And they actually said in an interview recently that they are going to announce more. So I think it makes sense for them to come out. I think it would be good if this game is 2026, not 2025. Because, again, 2025 is crazy already. Still, there will be more games that will be announced for 2025. So yeah, I can totally see it. Ooh, we have Max say, new Tomb Raider. That's actually a very good point. I remember there was an interview about that as well. So yeah, it claims that the next Tomb Raider is going well. Crystal Dynamics is working on the next installment. They of course did the Tomb Raider reboot, Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And let's see, I think at one point they said, it's, the development is progressing. We know, I think they shifted to Unreal Engine. I mean, doing a new Tomb Raider, the bar is so high, the longer you go, the expectations go higher, so it's a huge task, but the things are progressing. I mean, there are some really great ideas. Obviously, we're not going to share any with you, even if we would love to, but things are going well, things are moving forward. And from what I could tell, Crystal was pretty sheltered. The studio went through a couple of ownership changes anyway before. It's not brand new for them. The kind of games, the game we're doing with moving around. So yeah, this was back in August of this year. So yeah, I hope it's gonna do well. It seems to be more like an open world game. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. They are doing, of course, an Amazon movie or TV show. I think Sophie Turner is maybe going to be Lara. But yeah, I think the game is still further away than we would like. So I'm not putting my money on it, but it could totally show up. Oh, Bioshock was another good one at the Game Awards. That's a good one. But again, Take-Two has so many good things that I'm like, they want to focus on Mafia and Borderlands first. And Judas. We know Bioshock is coming. That would be a cool announcement. Even if it's like just a teaser. But that would be kind of weird. 2K has already had many, like Borderlands 4 is teaser only right now. Mafia's teaser only right now. Judas is, okay, we got some gameplay, but it still feels far away. I don't know if you want to add Bioshock to that list. I think you want to save that. So, I would love to see the new Bioshock, but I think it will not happen at the Game Awards.